Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to Scary Horror Stories from Reddit. Without further ado, let's get into it. I found home videos of my family that shouldn't exist. My brother died when I was 7 years old. He was 13. He drowned in the lake down the street from our house. My parents never touched his room. They tried once, but they couldn't do it. Too raw. After that, the door just stayed shut. His room became a kind of museum of him. That was 11 years ago. His room still looks the same. This morning, while I was packing for college, I thought I'd finally go in there. My plan wasn't anything dramatic. I just wanted to grab a few hoodies, maybe a keepsake or two to take with me. Something to hold on to when I got homesick. Full transparency, I've been in his room plenty of times before. I've sat on his bed. I've looked through his shelves, but I've never really gone digging. That felt wrong, and I really had no inclination to. I just missed my brother. That wasn't my intention today either. It wasn't my intention to find a stack of DVDs shoved into the bottom drawer of his dresser. There were 3 of them, just labeled 1, 2, and 3. The only DVD player in the house is still hooked up to his old TV. Everything else went streaming years ago. For a minute, I told myself not to do it. They weren't mine. They probably didn't matter. I picked up some of the items I had collected, put the DVDs back in his drawer, and returned to my room. Tonight, they started calling to me. I know how that sounds. I know you're thinking it was just my curiosity eating at me. But it wasn't like that. It felt physical. A pull in my chest. So I crept back across the hall, slipped into his room, locked the door behind me so my parents wouldn't hear, and I put in the first DVD. It was a home video. I didn't even know we had any. I don't remember my parents ever owning a camera. The video starts with static, then clears just enough to show something. The picture is muddy, warped. It could be the living room, but the furniture looks wrong. Everything is too big or too small, shifting every time the frame jitters. Sometimes it almost looks like a bedroom. Sometimes like a hallway. No faces, no clear shapes. Just flickering shadows that don't match what the voices are saying. Because there are voices. Familiar ones. Laughter, clinking dishes, and my mom calling my brother's name. It sounds like family in the background, just out of sight. I hear my brother's laughter, and the sound swallows me whole. It rings through my head, bouncing off the bones that make up my skull. Then, beneath it is another voice. Low, deliberate, close enough that you couldn't miss it. You haven't noticed yet. Then the video cut off. Just like that. I scrambled to replay it, not even thinking about the other 2 discs still stacked under the TV. I just wanted to hear him laugh again. That laugh. I tried not to think about the end, though the fear of it was crawling slowly up my spine as I hit play. Because the way it spoke, it sounded like it wasn't part of the recording at all. Like it was speaking to the camera. To me. I pressed play again, this time pausing every few seconds, desperate to make sense of what I was seeing. But nothing held still. Everything on the film looked almost familiar, like a room you swear you've been in but can't place. The walls are a little too narrow, and the colors are washed out enough to make it something you've never seen before. It made me feel like my brain was short-circuiting. Then I froze the frame just before the moment he laughed, and there it was. A caption, faint and yellow, burned into the corner of the screen. July 30th, 2015. 7 months after my brother drowned. My first thought was that it was a glitch. It had to be. The camera must have been off by a year. There's no other explanation. I forced myself to breathe and to shove back the rising panic. Then I pressed play again. His laugh filled the room, and for a second my fear washed away. It was just him again. He was alive, warm, present, a bittersweet rush of comfort and grief. But then the voice returned, closer this time, wet against the microphone, broken and cutting in and out like static. You noticed. I ripped the DVD out of the player and threw it across the room. I don't even know why I did it. Adrenaline, I guess. My hands were shaking so hard I couldn't control myself. I'm trying to think of logical explanations. I want to believe there's one, but every reason I come up with feels paper thin. I just bolted back to my room and dove under the covers. Like that would help. I don't want to watch the other videos. I don't. But I can feel them pulling at me, like they're not finished. Like I owe them something. I can't sleep. It's dark. It's late. The rain just started. The bathroom faucet always drips, but tonight it sounds so much louder. You could almost confuse it for footsteps. My son changed after his illness, and I'm terrified I'm the only one who sees it. I don't know if this is the right place to post this. I'm sorry for how long this will be, but I feel like if I don't write it all down, exactly as it happened, I'm going to shatter into a million pieces. My husband, Thomas, is a good man, a kind man, and he's trying to help. But his help feels like a cage. He looks at me with this deep, sorrowful pity in his eyes, and it's a look that says, "My poor wife has broken." He's scheduling appointments with doctors whose names I don't want to know. I can't talk to my mother or my sister, because the moment the words leave my mouth, I know what will happen. The concerned silence on the other end of the phone, the gentle suggestions, the hushed conversations with Thomas behind my back. How do you tell the people you love that you're afraid of your own child? How do you say, "I think my son isn't my son anymore," and not have them take him from you and put you somewhere soft and white? I'm writing to you, strangers, because you're all I have left. Once, our life was real and beautiful, loud and chaotic, full of small, imperfect joys. Our son Leo was 6, left-handed like my father, obsessed with dinosaurs, stubborn at bedtime, and tender to the core. He was a storm contained in a small body, our storm, and we loved him fiercely. Then came the fever. It started with a cough, a warm forehead, nothing alarming, until he was screaming in pain, burning hot, eyes glassy, muttering nonsense. For 3 days we fought to keep him hydrated, to keep him with us, as I begged every god I didn't believe in to spare him. The house was reduced to the 4 suffocating walls of his room, thick with fear and sweat. I thought we were going to lose him. On Saturday morning, the nightmare broke. The heat was gone, his breathing calm, his eyes focused. When he whispered, "Mommy," I wept like an animal. The next day was paradise. Sunlight streaming through the windows, pancakes, laughter, our dog licking his face. Everything felt holy, like life itself had been given back. I thought the storm was over, but on Monday morning he picked up his fork with his right hand. A tiny, insignificant thing, except Leo had never done that before. When I pointed it out, he answered with chilling certainty, "I've always done it this way, Mommy." And from that moment, I began to notice more cracks. His noise and chaos vanished, replaced with eerie silence, perfect order, unnerving precision. Thomas called it maturity. I called it wrong. The empathy that once defined him was gone. He looked at his dead goldfish not with grief, but with clinical detachment, suggesting dissection. He solved math problems he couldn't have understood, and corrected mistakes I hadn't noticed. Around Thomas, he was affectionate and perfect. With me, cold and watchful. It was a performance, and I was the only one allowed to see behind the mask. I tried to get proof. I asked him to draw our family, and instead, he drafted a schematic of 3 faceless figures labeled with our names. The one marked Eleanor was violently scribbled out. When I asked, he pointed at it and said flatly, "You are the error." That night I tried to run, to take him and flee, but he screamed, accused me of hurting him. Thomas believed him. The police took me away. Now I am here, in a quiet place with soft walls, diagnosed with trauma-induced psychosis. Thomas writes letters full of pity, saying Leo is thriving, brilliant, calm. He even sent me a photograph from a school picnic, the 2 of them smiling under a tree, a perfect father and son. To anyone else, it looks like happiness. To me, it's evidence. Because if you look closely, you'll see Leo holding an apple in his left hand. He remembered. He corrected the mistake. The performance is flawless now, and I am the only one left who knows the truth. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and want to watch more.